distinguished guests and distinguished presenters. You are also again. Here today we are to witness 5 distinguished research results from Sudan to Turkey. I suppose we are expecting 2 more presenters, but may or may not coming soon. So let's make the rules first. Assuming we have 3 people now, if we have just 15 minutes for each of us, time is going to be enough, I guess. If you have questions or comments, please let us discuss at the end of all sessions, and then we can, if the time permits, of course, we will have enough time for the discussion. So today, as of now, we have 3 research, one from Pamukkale University, Turkey, human capital and labor productivity and economic growth relationship. The second one is going to be about the impact of working conditions of air traffic controllers. And the third one is from Sudan, assessing fiscal space for national health insurance. So let me start with Mrs. Harald Orhan from Pamukkale University about human capital and economic growth. Please.
Thank you very much, President. Good morning, everyone. As President says, my presentation is about both economic development, and also I will talk about some issues about Turkish labor market. In this study, I try to find the relationship between economic growth and human capital in Turkey, and also economic growth and labor productivity, the relationship. And also I try to investigate the long-run relationship, and also I try to investigate causality, the causality relationship between these variables. The relationship between economic growth and human capital, the time period comprises from 1971 to 2013. And the economic growth and labor productivity, the time period covers from 1988 to 2013. My presentation composed of 6 subtitles. First of all, I will give some information about human capital and economic growth. This is my theory. And I will talk about labor productivity and economic growth. And then I will show you my data and the methodology that I used in this study. The 5th section is about analyzed results, and also the last section I will conclude the study. Especially the contribution of labor to economic growth became important at the beginning of 1960s. Especially the rise of human capital theories advocated by Schulz and Becker started to become more popular with their theories. These labor issues become very popular in the economic growth. In the macroeconomic aspects, there are also many empirical studies about human development and economic growth. And these empirical studies generally based on 2 important approaches. One is neoclassical growth models of Solow, and the second one is endogenous growth models. According to these endogenous growth models, human capital is a very essential factor in the economic growth. For countries to achieve economic growth, to achieve progress, and also to have a better life, human capital is very essential. And also in the human capital, we talk about human capital investment. It is related with also education. It is central to promote economic growth. also fuller employment and greater social cohesion. To achieve long-run economic growth, yes, we have to increase our human capital. It means that we have to improve the education level. We have to improve high-skilled employment. The imitation and adaptation of technology also depends on this higher level of human capital. Because in order to achieve high economic growth, in order to achieve sustainable economic growth, we have to also adopt technology, and this adaptation and imitation also depends on high level of human capital, high educated human capital. Also through the increased education and also the adaptation of technology in the production, the country started to produce more technology-intensive products, more high value-added products, and also they started to export such kind of products, and which also supports their economic growth. When we talk about human capital in Turkey, these are the indicators of gross enrollment ratios for primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education. These are the logarithms of human capital indicators. I selected these three indicators as human capital. As you see, from 1971 to 2013, the human capital ratio of Turkey is increasing. It is increasing. But among these three enrollment ratios, tertiary education is the lowest, and also primary education is the highest. The increase of the tertiary education is very significant from 1971 to 2013. Yes, average educational is increasing in Turkey throughout this time period, but however, the average educational level of employment in Turkey is very low. We can say that the education level of employment generally comprised of under high school education, under secondary school education. We can say that in the labor market of Turkey, which is the characteristics of labor market of Turkey, there is a mismatch between the skills provided by the schools and also labor market needs. There is a bottleneck. Because when we study labor market, we see that the highest unemployment rate belongs to tertiary education school. So we can say that there is a mismatch between the skills provided by schooling and the labor market needs. The relationship between labor productivity and economic growth is my second issue in this study. Why I choose labor productivity? Because as you know, Turkey is in a demographic transition with an increasing population, increasing young population. The working age population of Turkey is increasing, and Turkey's production is generally based on labor-intensive products. So labor-intensive goods are also important in Turkey's production pattern and also export pattern. So in that case, I try to compare the quality of human capital in Turkey and also the effect of labor market in Turkey's economic growth rate. Also, the Turkish labor productivity is also increasing. From 1988 to 2012, it is also increasing. This labor productivity is the labor productivity of the manufacturing industry sector. It is also increasing. This rising labor productivity also will provide a basis to increase both wages and living standards. However, there is also an issue. Yes, we want to increase labor productivity because it has affected economic growth positively. It will lower costs, and also it will boost to increase exports. But however, this labor productivity of manufacturing in Turkey has some problems. Because What are the sources of this productivity, this increase in productivity in Turkey? As you see, labor productivity of manufacturing industry in Turkey affected economic crisis too much. During the 1994, it drops a bit. Also in the 2001 economic crisis, it drops a bit. Also with the last economic financial crisis, it is also drops a bit. We can see these decreases during the economic crisis. Yes, this labor productivity increases, but which factors affected this labor productivity increases? First of all, Turkey is in a structural change. This structural change means sectoral structural change, we can say that. From low productivity to high productivity sectors, from agriculture to manufacturing sector and the service sectors. These structural change also affected productivity growth. But the productivity growth also affected from investment, physical investment, yes, human capital, labor, also market regulations, and also international environment. But many studies and analyses show that the increase of this labor productivity generally based on the long working hours in Turkey. Because workers are working too much in Turkey, working hours are higher than the OECD average. In this study, yes, I try to find the long-run relationship between economic growth and human capital, and also the causality relationship between these two variables in the first model. And in the second model, I try to analyze economic growth and labor productivity of manufacturing industry. I use real GDP per capita, and also I deflated it by consumer price index. So I got the real GDP per capita from World Bank. To analyze human capital, I use gross enrollment ratio for primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education. These data is also taken from World Bank World Development Indicators. And to measure labor productivity of manufacturing industry, I calculated labor productivity index. It is the ratio production index to employment index, and the data is taken from Turkstat. My analysis, econometric analysis, based on ARDL models, autoregressive distributed lag models, or bounce test. So in order to apply these bounce tests, this is the Pesarans test also, this bounce test. First of all, we have to check unit rules. In that case, I applied augmented diffuser test and Phillips-Perron test to find whether unit rules or not in this analysis. The regressors should be conjugated, I0 or I1. Also, during the application of bounce test, we have to also make some specification tests such as autocorrelation, heteroscedasticity, arch-reflex, and the reset tests for specification. And as a last step, to find the causality, the causal relationship between variables, I applied Toda-Yamamoto causality test. These are my results of augmented diffuser and Phillips-Perron test for unit root. Non-hypothesis is series have a unit root. According to these tests also support, Phillips-Perron test also supports the result of augmented diffuser. And all variables are I1. I found that all variables are I1, both GDP, human capital variables, and labor productivity. And then I applied bounce test, augmented diffuser, ADRL bounce test. Here, I try to find long-run relationship between variables. The null hypothesis is no long-run relationship. So in order to find a long-run relationship, I have to reject this null hypothesis. I can reject only the relationship between GDP and secondary school education, and also tertiary school education. the other variables I accepted, and I found that there is no long-run relationship during the time period that I studied. So I continue my analysis with GDP secondary school education and GDP tertiary school education, and I apply an error correction models. In these error correction models, the relationship between GDP and secondary school enrollment rate, the ARDL model is 1.3, and all these specific short-run specification tests are also valid in the first model. In the second model, our ARDL model based on 1/0, and also specification tests are also valid for this second model. So I can check for the long-run relationship. Okay? It is true, and there is no problem. In these error correction models, ECT, error correction term is important. This error correction term must be negative and must be significant in order to evaluate long-run relationship. This error correction term at the end of the equations also shows the speed of adjustment, which means that if there is a short-run shock, it shows the speed of moving back to the long-run equilibrium. This equilibrium between the GDP and secondary education is approximately 50%, and it is approximately 40% to tertiary school and GDP relationship. Now, the long-run coefficients also can be evaluated here. According to the long-run relationship, we found the expected signs. We expected a positive relationship between human capital and economic growth. So the sign of the secondary graduation and tertiary graduation is also positive and statistically significant in the long-run models. And also, as a last step, I have just these two relationships can pass all these tests. So as a result, I can apply a causality test for the relationship between economic growth to secondary school enrollment and economic growth with tertiary school enrollment. We only these two variables. I found no causality between secondary school enrollment, between economic growth and secondary school enrollment. I only find a one-way causality between tertiary graduation to economic growth, according to these Todaya-Monato causality tests. So, after all these tests, I can say that from the period, the time period that I studied, from 1971 to 2013, human capital accumulation, especially gross enrollment rate for tertiary education, higher education, causes economic growth. There is a relationship between. So this tertiary education affected economic growth in Turkey. And this tertiary education is more essential and more effective than primary and secondary education enrollments. We can say that. So, because of these results, human capital-based endogenous growth theory is also supported as a result. Yes, to achieve a long-run economic growth, it is important to increase human capital accumulation for Turkey. Also, to enhance the quality of education is important. And also to better match workers and jobs are crucial for Turkey's long-term economic growth. We can say that. What about the labor productivity? It is the second issue, the relationship between labor productivity and economic growth. Unfortunately, during the time period between 1988 to 2013, I found no long-term relationship during this time period. Although Turkey's economy based on labor-intensive production and labor-intensive exports of goods, throughout this time period, labor productivity doesn't support economic growth. We can say that maybe the increased working hours of Turkey since 1995 affected this relationship. And also we can say that the decreasing competitiveness of Turkish economy in the labor-intensive products. You know, Turkey has a significant competitiveness in the labor-intensive products in the world market and also in the EU market. But this competitiveness level is also in a decreasing trend. Maybe because of these are affected in this relationship.
Thank you.
I have some. Yes, I need to complete it. Not yet.
Okay. All right then. We congratulate Ms. Kara Orhan for the results, and hopefully she will publish the results in a distinguished paper. So let's move on to the next topic. How much air controller people are suffering? Is that the topic? The impact of working conditions on performance of air traffic controllers. From Istanbul University, Ms. Akça.
Hi everyone, I am from Istanbul University School of Transportation and Logistics. Today we will talk about the impact of working condition on contextual performance of air traffic controllers. In generally, most of people believe that air traffic controllers just work in the towers, especially in the glass rooms, but the truth is not like that. The only tower controllers works in the tower's glass rooms, but other controllers, for example, approach controller and radar controllers, work in the other facilities at airports. In this study, it is aimed to analyze air traffic controllers' working conditions impacts on contextual performance. In this context, we will talk about working conditions and contextual performance of air traffic controllers. And finally, with statistical analysis, it will be described the base of research model. First of all, in management literature, working conditions are composed of relations between employees and their organizations. What can be included under the working conditions concept? We can talk about physical conditions, work environment, work equipments, workload, incomes, working shifts, relationship between colleagues, supervisor support, organizational culture, social supports. And nowadays we can say that not only physical working conditions, but also social and psychosocial working conditions are very important for human behaviors in work environment. Generally, we know that most of our life passes in the work atmosphere, in the work environment. For this reason, physical and psychosocial working conditions will be very important on employee performance, well-being, job satisfaction, social relations, and individual employee performance. As we know from the management literature, basically, Tyler focused on physical features of the job in the working conditions, and he took the mechanic production, integration, and job physical conditions. But laterly, especially in the postmodern approaches, we can say that social and emotional factors of jobs and working conditions are also very important for employee behaviors and the people performance in work environment. Let's talk about air traffic controllers. We can say that air transport operations are occurred 7 days, 24 hours. For this reason, air traffic controllers work in shift work systems, and they have the ability of expedite decision makings for aircraft operations, because not just 1 minute, but just 1 second is very important for aircraft operations. What will be stressful or what will be important in air traffic control job? Time pressure is very important, because life safety of passengers very important and vital. For this reason, air traffic control job is excited and difficult. We know that their job is stressful all around the world, especially in the airports with huge air traffic. It will be more complex, because one air traffic controller will speak with pilots by monitoring. In 1 hour, they can speak with 40 aircraft pilots. They have to monitor 40 aircraft operations, and they have to ensure efficiency of the traffic flow and safety, security of aircrafts. We have talked about that they stay in tower, but not only in the glass places. What can we say about their main tasks? Complying information about flights, and they will give some instruction to pilots, but the main task is to have a quick traffic operations, to monitor aircrafts from radars, and to ensure the air traffic safety. When we look about their working conditions, we can say that they have shift work systems, and there will be some advantages and disadvantages about shift work system. Especially when we talk about the disadvantages, sometimes sleepiness may affect employee health and their motivation, maybe their performance. And sleepiness can cause physical and mental problems for air traffic controllers. And also fatigue is another issue. They will study at complex environment. For this reason, sometimes because of situational awareness loss, they will have some fatigue problems due to the shift work systems. However, at the time of evening, we know that air traffic will decrease, but because of the carefulness, however, you don't have more traffic on your radar. Sometimes you will lose your carefulness about the traffic. For this reason, we cannot say that if there are so many traffic on airspace, you will be more careful. In normal life, if you don't have very huge number of traffic, sometimes you will lose your carefulness. In an airspace traffic problem, approximately 10 years ago, there were just 2 aircraft in the air traffic controller, but he couldn't manage them, and they were crashed in the airspace. For this reason, shift work system is very important, and air traffic controller shouldn't have sleepiness and fatigue problems. What else can we talk about working conditions? We can say that they work in teams, team groups. In one team, in one office, they are working with other controllers, other colleagues. For example, in Atatürk Airport, at the same time, 25 air traffic controllers will monitor radar operations for approach controller. But for example, when we talk about Istanbul Airport, and this year, Istanbul Airport in Ankara started to manage all Turkey's airspace, space operations. For this reason, in one team, at the same time, approximately 100 air traffic controllers work in a controller's rooms. What can we say else about working conditions? We have talked before, stress is very important in air traffic controllers' working life. Not only just working time, but also stress will impact air traffic controllers' normal spatial lives, family life also. Quick decision making, time pressure, safety, responsibility over the jobs are some of the reasons which can occur, which can impact the stress occurring formulation on air traffic controllers. After talking about working conditions of air traffic controllers, let's talk about contextual performance. Unfortunately, there is not an objective performance model analysis for air traffic controllers. For this reason, we focus on self-report method. For this reason, we choose a model for individual performance from Motovildo and Borman. They approach individual employee performance in a different ways. They say that individual and employee performance consists of two types of performance: task performance, contextual performance. Task performance generally focused on main task-related operations. A lecturer's teaching education, a surgeon's operation, a controllers, air traffic controllers, only monitoring operations can be classified under the task performance concept. But nowadays, as we say that social and psychosocial working conditions get popular in this industries, especially the development of service-related industries, make this preference more quickly. For this reason, putting action in social and psychosocial behaviors to contribute organizational performance, we can say that this concept is contextual performance. Contextual performance is related with social and environmental activities which are not just focused on main task-related jobs. What can we count under the contextual performance behavior? Pro-social organizational behaviors, organizational citizenship behaviors, positive and helpful human behaviors are related with contextual performance behaviors. What can we say about them? Helping other duties, other colleagues' duties, listening colleagues' problems, taking care for friends in working environment can be classified under the contextual performance context. However, contextual performance doesn't focus on main job task related operations. In the second way, it also aims to increase the individual performance, and it also try to success the organizational performance. When we talk about my research methodology in the study, as I said in the first demonstration, it is aimed to determine the impact of working condition on contextual performance. I have a regression analysis at ICPESS 21 program. I use two scales in the Likert scale format. We choose Severinsen and Kamaker's working conditions scale, which is comprised of 38 items. Especially it is used in literature in the sectors, industries who work in shift work systems, who has some stressful jobs. For contextual performance, and also I use Williams and Anderson scales. As you see, Chrome alpha values are evaluated and high for the research. When we look at the research model, my hypothesis is there is a positive and significant relation between perceived working condition and contextual performance. When I asked the DHMI, the Air Traffic Controllers Authority in Turkey, they told me that in the 5 biggest airports in Turkey, there are approximately 800 air traffic controllers. In this research, I just chose 5 biggest airports workers. My population is occurred from 5 biggest airports. For this reason, I make a systematic sample. As you see in the table, I found the employee rates at airports, and the rate basically I sent some questionnaire forms, and the number of, when we talk about the number of returning questionnaire forms, we can say that approximately from cleaning the misstatus, I have 362 useful questionnaire forms from the controllers. For regression analysis, I looked the normality and correlation tests, and I found there is a middle level, maybe more than middle level correlation between variables, and by looking the normality distribution, it is accepted that data are distributed normal and have a normality. When we look about the graphs, we can see that. When we look the descriptive statistics for research variables, from skewness and vertices values, we can also accept that there is a normality about variables. When we look about the regression, simple regression model results, I can say that model is significant, and the variation about dependent variable can be determined by independent variable, approximately 35. Yes, from this coefficient table, we can see the equation about the contextual performance, and I can say that my hypothesis is supported by this regression analysis, and we can say that working conditions can impact air traffic controllers' contextual performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Nakçe. Now, let's move on to the last and third presentation by Fevziya Muhammad, Assessing Fiscal Space for National Health Insurance Funds in Sudan.
My topic is about setting physical space for national health insurance in Sudan, NHIF. Physical space is the ability of the government to change this option without affecting the final plan. Okay. Why we did this research? Because there is a need for additional funds for NHIF in Sudan. So I used the majority is physical space analysis. I use physical space categories, and in this interview with the stakeholder. Physical space analysis consists of three categories: macroeconomic condition, giving health priority, and health specific resources. Regarding economic condition, projected that would be growth in the economic condition. There is no shock projected. There is a relation between government spending and GDP. Regarding giving health priority, the government giving for the last 10 years given health priority. Even that there is a decrease in revenue, if there is a slight increase in the public health revenue. You can see that the per capita income, per capita expenditure health is increasing manner. Health specific resources. Health has 4 specific resources. Universal coverage. There is a weak potential because high poverty rate, almost 50, and urban population about 30%. Besides other factors such as availability and accessibility of health, and stakeholder commitment is also necessary. Regarding efficiency gains, efficiency in Sudan governance is less than average, is about 2.5, there is high infant mortality rate, and there is inefficiency in healthcare distribution. Here we can see that Sudan infant mortality rate is very high regarding comparing with the neighboring countries. Regarding grant and aid, it is low, 2%, about 2%, and it is at the same time no international commitment, and it is not consistent. Regarding earmark tax, smoking in Sudan is about 12% in 2012. Besides, there is other type of smoking not included here. Also, there is rooms in cigarette taxes. Besides that, studies done by WHO stated that 10% increase in the excise tax lead to 8% decrease in consuming smoking. You can see here there is specific taxes, 0. There is 3 rules in imposing tax on cigarettes. Also, there is a physical-based correlation. You see is there a relationship between the public health spending and GDP, increasing GDP. So there is 3 scenarios. The lowest scenarios or the worst scenarios, I found that there would be $30 increase in public health expenditure. The best scenario discovered that there would be $190 US spending in 2015. In the case-based scenario, I found that there would be 100 USA dollars spending in 2015 and 190 in 2044. The interview support the physical space analysis. That the health, the economic situation effects on health, health should be given priority, but also at the same time, there should be additional money allocated for health. So the findings, physical space is a possibility for feasibility in Sudan regarding macroeconomic condition is moderate. There will be no great increase in economic development. Giving health priority is limited because it should be, the government should invest 15% in public health spending, but just spending 10%. And the increase is light and depending on other factors such as taxation in the report. Regarding the health specific resources, budget coverage is limited because Sudan is poor country. Same time the urban area is less than 50, this is about 30%. Regarding efficiency, yes, it is good for health. There is a huge potential for health, but it is limited for HIF because there is an indirect relation between NHIF and the Ministry of Health. Regarding grant and yes, it is limited. Regarding earmark tax, it is good because as we saw, there is rooms imposing tax, spice tax. Recommendation: there should be grouping for the 3 categories: economic development, efficiency gains. There should be including the procedure of collecting grant against, and at the same time, there should be implementing specific tax for universal coverage, either from earmark tax or even health priority.
Thank you. Here we had a chance to hear about 3 interesting resource results, economic and social related studies. We thank these researchers for sharing their findings with us and wish them the best for future researches and publications. If you have questions or comments regarding these three presentations, it is time to discuss now. Other than that, we can take an early break. Since we have two missing presenters, we can finish early if you don't have any questions or comments. Then thank you, and I'm closing the session right now. Certificates? I have no certificates. Today, no certificates to anyone from me.
But yesterday we
President? Do you have-
joke.
I suppose
Certificates are coming. Just
Just
check.